On the 23rd of May, 1912, the Dublin Evening Telegraph published a rare grainy photograph of veteran Dublin musician James J. Johnson, the man who composed the music for one of the most anthemic themes of all time, A Nation Once Again. Depending on who occupied the British throne at the time, God Save the King or God Save the Queen was usually played at most official events in Ireland. Post-famine, however, a sea change was underway, as evidenced by the many press reports of Irish nationalist meetings and rallies, which often ended with the band playing St. Patrick's Day in the morning, or with the crowd singing A Nation Once Again. The words of A Nation Once Again were written by Thomas Davis, who, in 1842, co-founded the Dublin Weekly Nation, a newspaper with strong nationalist leanings. Born on the 14th of October 1814 in Mallow, County Cork, as a young man, Thomas Davis studied Greek and Roman classics and graduated with a degree in logic from Trinity College, Dublin. A Nation Once Again was first published on the 13th of July 1844 on page 7 of the Dublin Weekly Nation. Davis's knowledge of ancient history is clearly evident in the first verse, when he mentions 300 men and 3 men, a direct reference to the Battle of Thermopylae of 480 BC, when 300 Greeks and 3 Romans fell in battle. In January 1845, Thomas Davis's verses were included in The Spirit of the Nation, a collection of old and new nationalist songs published in Dublin. For the first time, A Nation Once Again was accompanied by a rather complex, forgetful melody, the anonymous composer of which repeated the last line of each stanza. Here's the first verse. When boyhood's fire was in my blood, I read of ancient freemen for Greece and Rome who bravely stood, 300 men and 3 men. And then I prayed I yet might see our fetters rent in twain, and Ireland long a province be, a nation once again. And Ireland long a province be, a nation once again. 3 more musicians would attempt to better this melody, but more of this anon. Unfortunately, Davis would not live to see the day when his song would gain a firm foothold in Ireland. He died, aged 30, from scarlet fever on the 16th of September 1845. In the late 1860s, Timothy Daniel Sullivan's God Save Ireland became increasingly favoured as the unofficial Irish national anthem. But in May 1878, Davis's verses were given a brand new melody by Dublin-born journalist and part-time composer Thomas Sherlock. Published in sheet music form by Charles Brown of Lower Gardiner Street, the Nation newspaper warmly welcomed Sherlock's setting, saying that it was a catchin' one, unlike the 1845 setting, which they said sounded weak. 8 years later, another musical setting was added to Davis's lyrics, this time by Edward Comerford, a music teacher based in Dundalk. Moving on now to 1887, when a nation once again was given a whole new lease of life by James J. Johnson. Having already established a glowing reputation for arranging Thomas Davis's The West's Asleep, as well as Michael Joseph McCann's O'Donnell Laboo, J. Johnson excelled at crafting memorable tunes, so it's no surprise that his melody for A Nation Once Again became an overnight success. Published by Cameron and Ferguson of Glasgow and London, Johnson's A Nation Once Again included an unforgettable sing-along chorus, and it sold like hotcakes. Some critics claimed that Johnson had borrowed heavily from the Adagio section of Mozart's clarinet concerto in A major. True, the first 6 notes of the chorus sound remarkably similar to a phrase from the Adagio, but apart from that, Johnson's melody was both fresh and original. James J. Johnson died on the 22nd of March 1915 at his home in Ardalawn Terrace, Dublin. This was the man who had single-handedly turned Davis's words into an anthemic gem. A fine, rousing version of A Nation Once Again was recorded by Harold Gray, a baritone from Dundrod, County Antrim, and it was included on the 1965 album Ireland, Mother Ireland. Gray was ably assisted by Our Lady's Choral Society and the Radio Éireann Symphony Orchestra. And so ends the story of A Nation Once Again.
When boyhood's fire was in my blood, I read of ancient freemen. For Greece and Rome, oh, bravely stood 300 men and 3 men. And then I prayed I yet might see our fetters rent in twain, and Ireland long and province be a nation once again. A nation once again. A nation once again. And Ireland long and province be a nation once again. And from that time through wildest woe that hope has shone afar light, nor could love's brightest summer glow outshine that solemn starlight. It seemed to watch above my head in forum, field and plain. Its angel voice sang round my bed, A nation once again. A nation once again. A nation once again. Its angel voice sang round my bed. work and service high and holy would be profaned by feelings dark and passions vain or lowly. For freedom comes from God's right hand, and needs a godly train, and righteous men must make a land, a nation once again. As I grow from boy to man, I bent me to that bidding, my spirit of each selfish plan and cruel passion ridding. For this I hope someday to aid, oh cancer